using Feed the Cats with team sports? Because right away, I think some of the pushback would be, hey, my athletes have to cut and change direction, and these are kind of unique and different skills. And while I appreciate that, I still think there's opportunity to train these. One of the things that I am curious about is just how's the integration been with that model? Specifically because when I think about heavy deceleration, change of direction, it's just physically demanding. There's a lot of eccentric stress on the muscles. There's a lot of residual fatigue compared to just running in a straight line. So I'm just curious how that's been and how some coaches, maybe or some of the feedback you've gotten about how this has been adopted to a multi-directional model.
Yeah, my favorite sports to work with these days is lacrosse and soccer, which is really weird because I don't watch them. I'm not interested, to tell you the truth.
Right.
I've never played them, but yet here I am working with teams that are in the NCAA Final Four in lacrosse. Last year at this time, I was in France working with the Soccer Federation. Next September, I'm going to Brazil to work with soccer. And the reason why I work with these people is because I stay in my lane. My pyramid of success, or whatever you call it, the base is rest, recovery, sleep, nutrition, hydration. If you don't do that, you don't give yourself a chance to get to the next level. So I think that's the base. I think a lot of coaches forget that. And then the next part is athleticism, which is not unique to any sport. Athletes are better at every sport they play, regardless of the sport. So I talk about lift, sprint, jump, bounce when I'm talking to lacrosse people or soccer people. And the people who push back will say things like, yeah, but coach, we have to, change directions and things like that. And then I say, okay, describe your best player. No matter who it is, they'll always say the first two words is fast, explosive. I'm like, okay, so what are you doing to get them faster? And they go, well, I guess we recruit them. I said, that's right. That's all you do is you pick the fastest people because you know that fast, explosive athletes are better than the others. But what if I told you could get guys faster and more explosive? All of them, even the good ones. That really changes things. So after building athletes, and building athletes is no different if it's volleyball, golf, lacrosse, soccer, track. That's what I'm doing right now. I have a workout in a couple hours, and we are working on nothing but speed and explosion. Not one single aerobic workout ever in the off season. We never run a lap before practice. We never run a lap after practice. All we do is 5-second explosive power. We are just totally prioritizing athleticism. That's all we're doing. So they go, well, when do we start cutting? And they're okay. That's when we reverse engineer the game. Too many sports reverse engineer the game all the way to the bottom of the pyramid. And they're not creating athletes. And they are not healthy athletes because there's not that rest, recovery, sleep thing. So what we do after we prioritize athleticism, which is mainly speed, then we do sport-specific fundamentals and movements. And if your sport is not teaching the movements of that sport in practice, I'm like, what in the hell is your doing in practice? I'm like, your practice, let soccer train soccer. But away from soccer, let's train athletes. Let lacrosse train lacrosse. And then outside of the sport, let's get them faster and more explosive. By the way, there's no such thing as being, you cannot be slow and explosive. You have to be strong and fast to be explosive. So speed is still the tide. But what I find, I think, is a lot of practices just copy what they've always done. There's worthless drills. There's too much conditioning. I'm a believer in doing no conditioning at all. Once again, let's get in shape by doing things your sport does. Let's gamify practice, which means make your practice more like the game itself. And then also, let's compete and keep score in practice sometimes. Let's do the things that make kids want to play our sport. too often, like, practice hardly resembles the game. It's just effort. It's just, slogging through third gear crap and the coach cussing the guy at people and yelling at them and everything for more effort. And it's because their practice is misguided.